Hello everyone. Today we are going to study about bacterial metabolism. So, bacterial metabolism is all about bacteria's metabolic activities. As we are going to study today about metabolism, we must be able to understand what is metabolic activities. So, metabolism, the word is derived from a word which means meta and bolism. So, metabolism are living activities that are required to perform different functions. For example, metabolism is basically comprises of two words, which is catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism is the breakdown, and anabolism we can say as the synthesis of complex molecules. So, as we can see, metabolic refers to the biochemical reactions in cell or organism. So, it occurs in prokaryotes as well as in eukaryotes, and like here we are studying it in prokaryotic cells. That focuses basically on the reactions. Now, what is basically metabolism? So, it's the chemical procedure, as I've already told. Chemical procedure that includes the two types, catabolism and anabolism. Now, this basic, beautiful, big structure is easily comprises to make you understand even more clearer. So, as you can see, the anabolism is basically the synthesis, and in catabolism, as you can see with the yellow arrow, it is the two breakdown of energy. Now coming to the next part, which is the bacterial growth curve. So as we are going to study about growth curve, we must understand what is a curve. So curve is something that comprises completely from the straight line, because a straight line constitutes of a straight level or a line segment, but a curve is slightly bented. So here a growth curve represents a lag, log, stationary or a decline phase in the period of bacteria. Now these living cells are seen over a population and over a period of time. These metabolic activities are somehow dividing or maybe not dividing, but this growth curve, like in the case of humans or we can say in eukaryotic cells, can easily be identified with this curve, that how the bacterial growth is happening. Is it declining? Is it exponential? Is it initial? So what is a kind of phase? Now bacterial growth is basically the proliferation of bacteria into two daughter cells in process called binary fission. So these, as you have studied, that binary fission is basically the separation. So now here comes the separation of two daughter cells, in which the cells are dividing from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8 and so on. So these number of cells can divide and require direct individuals, and this can be done with different types of flow, and different type of instruments are easily here can be understood with different measurements. Now what is the basically nutrition of bacteria? Because we have already told about growth, we have talked about metabolic activities. Now all these activities require food, require nutrition. How without nutrition a bacteria can grow, like in the case of humans? So here comes the most important part, which is the nutrition. So mainly bacteria are autotrophic and as well as heterotrophic. So in the case of nutrition of bacteria, phototrophic bacteria can make their own food with the help of light pigments. But complementarily, in heterotrophic bacteria, they are mostly dependent on the food for other people, on basically for plants, for dead decay and other host cells. As it is already clear with this flowchart that heterotrophic and autotrophic are further divided into two parts, which is saprophytic, parasitic, photosynthetic and chemosynthetic. Now these energy has different patterns. Now whatever the energies they get from nutrition, whatever they perform activities, they require a count of energy patterns. So these patterns can be easily identified with aerobic, anaerobic and fermentation. So likewise, photosynthesis in higher plants, as we can understand that it can be seen easily, that photosynthesis occurs to make a food, to prepare a food preparation for plants. In the case of bacteria, as we can see, certain pigments are involved. Like for example, some photosynthetic bacteria are required, like chlorobium as a green sulfur bacteria, chromatium a purple sulfur bacteria, rhodosporium non-sulfur purple bacteria, and these certain reactions. As we are moving forward about respiration process, so here comes the aerobic group. Aerobic respiration basically includes glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and most importantly ETC, electron transport chain. So these can also occur in eukaryotes and as well occur in prokaryotes. Now comes as anaerobic, as we can understood by the names only, that oxygen presence and absence of oxygen. These absence of oxygen is a less efficient process in which Krebs cycle is required, as we commonly called as citric acid cycle. So these are some of the things that occurs in any kind of bacterial metabolism. For the further studies and for the more info and to study each and everything about bacterial metabolism, keep watching my channel Life Sciences, and you will be able to understand about each and every aspect of bacteria. So I'll be continuing this in the next video, and you'll be able to understand very easily about ETC and Krebs cycle. Till then, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your patience. Subscribe the channel, like it, and share it with your friends so that they can be easily benefited.